Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. Sorry about all the noise. This is just like a really kind of quick and really random video for me to make. So just like many other people, I finished watching The Mandalorian a few days ago, and I thought, of course, the season had ups and downs, but I think there's one key thing that I think real life has possibly influenced the show. And I think I kind of know why the season has kind of been how it has been. If I had to guess, and I have no knowledge of the industry of this show at all, and I haven't talked to anybody about this who has worked on the show, so this is just my thought. My thought is, after hearing the rumors where Pedro Pascal, who is now a huge star because of the way that he acts in movies, the way his personality just it works with everybody. You've seen him in The Last of Us, like you've seen him, his face, and you've seen him in other movies, and you know he was the actor who was playing the Mandalorian. If I had to guess, after hearing the rumors that he wanted to leave the show, I think that he was not the Mandalorian this entire time. And there could be levels of this like conspiracy theory that I'm just thinking about, and it just could be that there is somebody else playing him, somebody else playing the actions of the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, the character's name, and then he comes and easily just dubs what needs to be said, because this season, in season 3, this is the first time that you don't see his face at all. 0% of the time. And I think the rumors are probably true. He is a really, really big actor where at the beginning I was thinking, okay, it makes sense for him to have the mask on, the helmet on the entire time, because that's what Mandalorians, or at least his kind of sect, that's what it demands. So all of those Mandalorians, they keep that mask on, they keep that helmet on, and that's just what's required. And for the style of the show, having the armor, having the helmet on, it just works. And for the first season, for the second season, it just works because you don't want to have them take off the helmet every time, as they kind of do in Marvel movies now, where, you know, Iron Man was the nanotechnology just brought the helmet down. You could see a lot more of Robert Downey Jr., huge actor. Same with Spider-Man, same with basically every hero out there. These people kind of deserve to be seen, and I get why they do it. And of course, in comics, you see them more of just kind of keeping that mask on because there's not an actual actor behind that. There's no one that they have to pay. There's no big name behind there that they need to get out there. So cartoons, comic books, they keep it kind of the same way. But it kind of got to the point where Pedro Pascal is a big enough actor that I believe, and this is just my belief, they should have really integrated him taking his helmet more off in the show organically. They should have made some reason for him to take his helmet off and just to be allowed to not have the helmet on, because he's a big name. It's great to have him there in the credits, but I really, like, go look at Instagram. He did not promote a single second on his personal Instagram, where I believe other character actors on the show did. And I believe, I don't think that maybe he may be upset, but I don't think this is like some slight against the show. I think it's just because he was not a big part of the show. And I think it's honestly, if you share something like a behind the scenes, because I'm really going to be curious to see what the behind the scenes of season 3 are. If they show him and, you know, behind the scenes taking the helmet off and putting it on in some of the iconic scenes that we've seen, then, you know, I was immediately wrong. But if they kind of like gloss over the fact of him actually playing this. I think it's easy to see, and I think it's kind of right, and they're kind of handling this in the right way, where, keeping him helmeted, dubbing him, having some other actor play the body, I think that just works. And what really, really kind of made this almost like, in my mind, as truth, is that when the character Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan, was allowed to take off her helmet by the same person who has been scolding, I believe her name is the Armor, I don't know the actor's name, but has been scolding Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, about taking his helmet off in those previous seasons. She was so freely allowed to do this, and it kind of worked in the story, and I think, honestly, that Pedro Pascal just wasn't there. He was doing other things, they were dubbing him, and they really needed to get a face out in front of us, the viewing audience. And she's a big enough actress, big enough actor, that it's the best they could do, and I think it kind of worked, because she was the main character of this season. She had like the biggest arc. It's almost as if the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, was just like an afterthought. And it's really interesting because I don't think this season was really, really that good, but I really think that they were just kind of biding time. I think they may have had, again, always guessing, I think they may have had just some kind of talk in the background, like, we get it, you're upset, this is not kind of working out, but can we do this for this season? And maybe in season 4, we'll bring it back to form, and we'll come up with a reason for you to take your helmet off, because for Katie Sackhoff's character, who was adopted in, immediately was like, no, you don't have to wear the helmet, you don't have to do that. So they're kind of giving this a right of way for him not to take off the helmet, or sorry, for him to take off the helmet in the next season. But they kind of did a weird thing where they didn't allow him to take off the helmet in this season because, again, I don't think he was actually there. I don't know, there are just some things about the performance in it, and again, this just could be me reading into things, but it didn't feel like it was the same actor playing the body. And of course, for action scenes, it's not going to be the same person, but for just like the mannerisms and the way that he was moving, it just didn't seem like it was the same person. And I think they took advantage of this kind of negative, and told like a larger lore story. And I think that I love learning about the lore, but it just seems like they've been expanding this show to be a launching pad for other shows a little bit too much. Like, honestly, this season kind of felt like that one episode that Stranger Things had in season 2, where it was just like, you know what they're doing. This isn't really helping the story. This is launching more IP. But in Star Wars, it kind of just makes sense, because this is a story from the Clone Wars TV show that's being expanded on. This is great that we actually get to learn what happened to the Mandalorians and what's currently, there's so many shows taking place at different times, what's kind of currently happening. So I think they took the opportunity to do this, but I really don't believe that Pedro Pascal was there. And again, I don't think he should have been. But again, I want them to figure out a way for him to take off that helmet, to just be that actor at the head of one of the biggest TV shows on TV, on the internet, on whatever. Just give him a reason to stick around, because I believe that there were rumors where he wanted to leave the show, and they were thinking about, not they were thinking about, but people were thinking that he was going to be killed off in the last episode. And I honestly was getting nervous. I've never gotten more worried about a character meeting their demise, but I think they probably saw, and maybe they filmed multiple endings, where maybe one, if Pedro Pascal is really like, guys, I'm not doing this again, they're going to kill him off and then continue with a different story. But I feel like there's hope with this. they kind of did an ending for Din Djarin and Grogu, where they have a home. They don't really need to do anything. Maybe they'll incorporate him into future episodes. But it's just, I don't know. It's different. It feels different. Another thing too, Jon Favreau, who voiced Paz Vizsla in previous seasons, was voiced by a new person. Of course, he's not in the actual suit. But I think this is kind of key, showing what they could do. And also, this is kind of almost like a podcast right now. This is just like a constant train of thought for me. But honestly, they switched up the character who voiced him. I didn't really notice, honest to God. But it's so easy with helmeted characters to do the voice work. Either somebody else does it, or you get kind of the, like the AI generated voice they did for Darth Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi, where they're basing it off of, oh wow, I just had a blank. You know his name. They base it off his voice, but it was generated by AI. And I think with a helmeted character like that, I think you can literally, as long as you license the voice from the actor, you can continue this on for forever. I think there will be more like Darth Vader series and movies, because they can use James Earl Jones's voice forever, and they can continue create it with his permission. They could do the same thing for the Mandalorian if they choose to keep his helmet on. They could either license Pedro Pascal's voice out, or they could get him to dub it, because he's still alive, he's still acting, he's still being able to produce these things. But this is pretty interesting. I think this this show really was influenced by things behind the scenes, and that's a little disappointing, but it's interesting to kind of try and figure this out. Again, if we see the behind the scenes and he was there, then this video is kind of a moot point, but I think it's really interesting just to think about. And that's all. Yeah, that's all I'm doing today. I want to keep it casual. I've been pumping out tons and tons of videos, daily content for, I don't even know, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months. So it's a lot of videos coming out. But I hope you guys have been enjoying this. As you know, this channel has tons of different kinds of content, and I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying it. But don't forget, this is going to be kind of my train of thought, where I'm picking things that I find interesting. It's not going to be one solid thing. Maybe one day I'll kind of keep this more concise, but I like doing this way. But alright guys, oop, somebody's giving me a call. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram at m8b9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. Oh, I missed that one. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.